honey. No. Look at your shoulders. They're practically touching your ears. Come in. Wipe your feet. Don't just hover by the hallway like a coat rack. Come right into my kitchen where the hearth fire can actually reach your bones. Okay, dear recruit, sit down in the rocking chair. Yes, the one with the thick plaid cushion. I felt the air shift about an hour ago, but I thought it was just the weather turning sour. I didn't realize it was my favorite recruit carrying the weight of the world on their back. Entrance points secure. Thresholds salted with a very high quality Himalayan pink. There, the perimeter is locked. Now, you listen to me, dear recruit. It is entirely okay to have off days. The world out there is loud, it's heavy, and sometimes your spirit just runs out of fuel. That is nothing to be ashamed of. We are human, not statues. But what we are not going to do is let a bad day affect our work. We are certainly not going to let the dark use our sadness as an open invitation to come slip into the house. You are safe in this kitchen. Let me carry the watch tonight while you just breathe. Here you go, recruit. Drink this. It's chamomile with 4 generous spoonfuls of honey. Don't blow on it. Just let the steam clear that fog out of your head. We have a bit of a situation to discuss tonight, and frankly, I think a little cosmic absurdity is exactly what your mood needs. Whatever is crouching out there in the brush tonight, waiting for you to feel small, it has to go through me first. And let me tell you, I have an iron skillet, a grudge against uninvited guests, and a thoroughly unyielding attitude tonight. Besides, have you seen the posture on this Rake thing we're tracking? It looks like a wet pipe cleaner that got caught in a vacuum cleaner. We are not letting a creature that desperately needs a chiropractor dictate the mood of this house while we have perfectly good tea to drink. Welcome back to the Society of Shadows and Snacks. I'm your keeper. Today we open Case File 5, The Pale Observer. We are dealing with an entity that the modern world calls the Rake. You think this is a creepypasta recruit? A bit of digital ink born on an internet forum in 2006? Don't be naive. The internet didn't invent the shadow, it just gave the terrified a place to gossip. The Society has been tracking this thing since long before anyone ever clicked a mouse. It's a predator of vulnerability, recruit. It waits until we lay down our guards, our tools, and our worries, precisely like you did today. And it tries to make us feel naked in our own sanctuaries. It wants you to think it's a terrifying Lord of the Dark, but really, it's just a glorified, skinless squatter who doesn't know how to knock. Well, I've spent a lifetime building walls and baking bread, precisely so we don't have to live in fear. Let's audit the ledger, find where this unwashed shadow thinks it has a right to stand, and erase its invitation entirely. We find our first formal entry in the 12th century mariner's log, salvaged from a shipwreck off the coast of Spain. The captain wrote of a skinless, pale stowaway that crouched atop the main mast at night. It didn't steal the rations, it just stared down into the crew's quarters through the grates. Honestly, imagine sailing across the Atlantic, surviving scurvy and storms, just to look up and see a bald, naked, pale thing hovering over the ship like a dramatic gargoyle. Preposterous! If it had time to stare, it had time to help swap the deck. Absolute freeloading. I wouldn't tolerate it on a ship, and I certainly won't tolerate it here. If you look further into the Continental Archives, we hit 1691. In a small mountain village in the Black Forest, a midwife's journal recorded the hollowed-eyed guest. She wrote that it would slip through unlatched shutters, crouching at the foot of cradles and marriage beds, perfectly still, until the morning church bells drove it back into the brush. Now that is just atrocious manners, creeping into a bedroom while people are trying to get their 8 hours. It's lucky I wasn't alive in the Black Forest in 1691, recruit. A creature like that wouldn't have been driven back by church bells. It would have been driven back by me, throwing a blazing cast iron kettle directly at its misshapen forehead. But my favorite piece of evidence comes from the Spanish Inquisition records of 1542. A court ledger notes the trial of a man accused of witchcraft because a long-limbed, pale demon was seen sitting on his roof every night. The poor man told the inquisitors he didn't summon it. He just couldn't get it to leave his rafters. And what did they do? They burned the whole house down, which frankly is a bit of an overreaction. Typical non-believers. A good broom and a bucket of bleach and maybe some iron fillings would have done the trick without ruining the real estate value. And let's not forget the 1880 gold rush journals from the American Pacific Northwest. Miners trapped in winter cabins wrote frantic diary entries about the gun tuck, a local indigenous term some twisted into a description of a fleshless man who would sit in the corner of the mine shafts, clicking its jaw in the dark, watching them dig until their lanterns died. Clicking its jaw? Honestly, it sounds like my late husband Earl trying to chew through a piece of overcooked steak. It's a sensory nightmare, recruit, but it's all just cheap theater. For 800 years, it has been a biological glitch, a scavenger of peace. It doesn't want your jewelry, recruit. It wants your consternation. And I am fresh out of consternation today. I gave it all to my tax man last Tuesday. Our recruits have been busy, and they are handling things beautifully. I have 2 specific sightings that were reported through the Society's secure frequency, and they show exactly how to handle these dramatic loiterers when you're feeling a bit faint. In Report 1, a recruit in a farmhouse reported seeing a pale, folded shape sitting atop her garden fence. Instead of panic, she remembered her training. She walked to the window, pulled the heavy velvet curtains shut, and loudly announced to the room, "The show is over and I didn't care for the performance." You go, girl. Give that recruit a badge and a gold star. Now, by morning, the fence was empty, though the wood was scratched as if by a very large, very frustrated house cat. If you don't give them an audience, recruit, they realize they're just a naked nuisance standing out in the cold. They thrive on your performance. Don't give them a stage. In Report 2, a recruit in a city apartment kept hearing the clicking of joints coming from his walk-in closet. He didn't open the door. Wise move. Smart boy. Instead, he took a heavy iron frying pan, tapped it thrice against the closet door, and recited our 3rd pillar, courtesy. He said, "I am currently using this space for my winter coats. You are trespassing on a private lease. Please vacate by the time the kettle whistles." And when the kettle whistled, he opened it. The smell of damp earth was there, but the guest was gone. You see, you have to treat them like a pushy landlord. Assert your spotter's rights. It's your apartment, you pay the rent, and that pale thing certainly isn't contributing to the utility bill or helping buy the groceries. Now, because you're having a heavy day, I am putting extra almonds into this. Since we are dealing with a creature famous for its claws, we are going to completely reclaim the mark. We are making scored almond bark, dark chocolate for grounding your energy, sea salt for the perimeter, and slivered almonds to represent the fragments of the things it tries to break. Let's do the ritual of the scored mark. While the chocolate is still warm and melted on your parchment, I want you to take this silver fork right here, or a very clean iron skewer if you want to feel a little medieval warrior, and you're going to rake your own lines into the chocolate. As you score the surface, I want you to say it with me, nice and loud so the rafters hear you. I mark my territory. I claim my space. My lines are iron. Your lines are erased. Perfect. Once it freezes solid, you break it into jagged shards. Look at that. Beautiful, sharp, and totally under your control. When you eat a piece, you are consuming the very idea of the scratch. You are making the threat digestible. You are the one with the teeth here, recruit. It's hard to be intimidated by a shadow when you're busy enjoying premium dark chocolate. Cibum est tutela. There now, your nerves should be sufficiently cauterized, and I see your shoulders have dropped at least 2 inches. Good. If you see a pale limb stretching out from under your bed tonight, don't scream. Don't give it the satisfaction. Just remind it, that you have a fresh batch of almond bark, a very heavy iron skillet, and a keeper who will happily cross state lines to handle a nuisance. You aren't in the mood to entertain guests who forgot to wear clothes. Next week, we're packing our parkas. We're heading to the snowy peaks of the Ural Mountains to discuss the Dyatov Pass. It's a case of torn tents and missing tongues, so do make sure you bring your strongest tea and your thickest wool socks for that one. We'll need the extra warm. Goodbye, darling recruit. Lean back, finish your tea, and don't you dare worry about the dark. I've got the first watch. Keep your salt lines thick, your chocolate dark, and your chin up. Now, where did I put my iron fillings? I think the windowsill needs a fresh coat of go away.